the British fort falls to the Native American Confederation, a confederation of the Americans and the natives, in 1763. 1794, Wayne builds the first American fort. Then Colonel Thomas Hunt builds the second fort, the siege of Fort Wayne. So there was a siege. Oh, I'm not sure. This British fort falls to a Native American Confederation. That may mean a confederation of Native Americans. Wayne Fort, so Fort Wayne. So General Anthony Wayne builds first American fort, 1794. So Fort Wayne, Indiana, for General Anthony Wayne. Colonel Thomas Hunt builds a second American fort, 1800. The siege of the fort, and that's what we were learning about over here. Hunt's fort had withstood a Native American siege in September of 1812, but by 1815 it was badly decayed. Major Whistler builds the third American fort, and then Whistler's fort is abandoned in 1819. And the last remaining building of Whistler's fort is demolished in 1852. And that is 1852 and 8 is 1860. And 1860 and 1 is 1861. And 1861 is the breakout of the Civil War. So the last remaining building was demolished is 9 years before the U.S. Civil War. Just to give some context. So when the Civil War broke out, this is 9 years it was demolished. This is 9 years after something is demolished. So this was, it was really almost historical by that point. But by the time that the U.S. Civil War started, 1861, lasted till 1865. I would recommend Ken Burns' documentary, The Civil War, if that's what you're interested in. He does a pretty good job of doing an introduction, even though it's an extensive introduction. One thing you'll find in that documentary is they do a lot of when they interview people, the faces he gets really close. It stands out. When you watch that documentary, you'll be like, whoa, move the camera back, please. You're a little close. I don't know why they did that. I mean, it might be because the Civil War is a very personal war for the United States, for Americans. So maybe by having the faces so close, by having Bob Costas filling your entire screen, that somehow that would have a valuable impact. But yes, very good documentaries. What that has to do with this is apparently not much, because this is pre-Civil War. And keep in mind that this is a reproduction, as it said. We didn't even look at the other side. Really? I'm gonna go back for the other side. Is it worth it? This has got to be it. I might have said this before, but like, seriously, if you like these videos and you, I have no problem with you like falling asleep to them if you could stand the sound of my voice. Like if you put them on in the background, that's fine. You know what? I make these mostly actually for myself, as a document where I've been, and then this whole thing about this the skill space. Speaking of which, I would say don't skill space out here, okay? I would just don't skill space near historical things. It's just not worth it. If you feel like you really need to, you know, you're like, oh yeah, skill space, like we're doing skill, we want to incorporate the Whistler's Fort into our skill. We want to have like in our video that we're gonna make. Like, okay, go get permission. Get permission. You might be able to get permission, and that would be great if there's a reason that you have to have Whistler's Fort in your skill. So, but yeah, no skill on park properties, like this kind of stuff. I mean, get permission always. Reconstruction of Whistler's Fort. These are the Three Rivers Federal Credit Union, the National Archives, Randy and Angela Elliott, Tom Grant, Randy Harder, and Jill Downs. Wow, I just read who this is being acknowledged to. They have these. Okay, so we did this from 1722 to 1852. We did that on the other side over there. And then this is basically talking about, so although they talked about for many years, serious steps toward building a replica of one of Fort Wayne's American forts did not take place until 1963, which is over 100 years after it was demolished, when the Allen County Fort Wayne Historical Society voted to take action on the project. The following year, the Psi Iota Chi? Is that a Chi? Sorority made a grant to the Historical Society to fund research to fort construction led by Dr. Richard Knopf. Later, military historian Brian L. Dunnigan was hired to lead the organization known as Historic Fort Wayne. That's the organization that is working to do this. It was decided to construct the third American fort due to the availability of detailed drawings done by Major John Whistler in 1816. Programming would center around 1816 first-person interpretations based on historical records. In the early 1970s, a fundraising campaign office was opened and property acquisition began. Numerous houses along the west side of Spy Run Avenue were purchased and demolished. Construction began in 1974 and the fort opened to the public on June 5th, 1976. That's right before the bicentennial. The bicentennial would have been July 4th. Or it is July 4th, 1976. Historic. So they were able to have the fort opened for the bicentennial in 1976. Historic Fort Wayne ceased operations in 1993, and ownership of the fort reverted back to the Fort Wayne Parks and Recreation Department. In 2004, a new group, also known as Historic Fort Wayne, began programming and set about to repair and rebuild the fort buildings. So I guess that this is a continuation of that project from 2004, and I'm guessing that these are reenactments, and educators who are showing you what life may have been like, what it looked like back in 1816 or so. So the third American fort, 1815 to 1816. So that would be the early 19th century. The 19th century comprises the 1800s. Just like the 20th century comprises the 1900s. And the 21st century comprises the century we're currently in, the 2000s. The 2000s. Well, okay. We went Whoa, like all over this place. Um, didn't know this was gonna be what this became. And any last minute things. Um, Lots of beautiful trees. Mr. Tree. Yes? Mr. Tree, does that sound from the motorcycle bother you? Why do you ask? I just wonder, does it sound of the motorcycle? Let me think. No, the motorcycle sound does not bother me. In fact, I like it. It's like a big hummingbird. Yes, that is how I feel too, says the other Mr. Tree. And then there's Doubletree, Mr. Doubletree. Yes, I agree with you. What about you, Mr. Telephone Pole? Mr. Telephone Pole don't talk no more. Because he's no longer a tree. What about this tree over here? What do you think? Yes. I like the motorcycles. It makes me think of a kitten purring. Okay. Well, we've learned quite a lot today, and we will end with a variation on a sticker that is connected with skateboard culture